Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Unlocked on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Just like yesterday, I don't know about you, Key, but in Greenville, it's straight up brick again. Took my dog out this morning about 7 o'clock, 25 degrees. He had no idea what he was seeing when he was seeing his breath out there. He was straight up scared of it. Every step, he had no idea what was popping him from. How we doing?
Feeling pretty good. It's definitely, most certainly, brick in Charlotte, North Carolina as well, man. It's been, I don't know. Normally around this time, it's not too bad, but it's getting pretty cold pretty quick. If you're in the sun, it's not too bad, but yeah, it's definitely pretty cold. But it's a beautiful Wednesday, though. It's a beautiful hump day. I'm excited to get into all of these things that we've got on the docket today.
Yeah, we got some. We had the college football playoff rankings reveal last night. Some fan bases are a little upset. Some say they got snubbed. We'll dive into that today. But before that, it's conference championship week. It's football weather. So let's dive into these games and let's get some Kevon picks.
I would love to give some picks, but this is the most people we've had on Instagram yet. I really want to give them a really cool clip that I found yesterday on the show called Ballers. It's The Rock talking to his man Joe Crutel on the show. I really want to show this before we get into picks and everything, guys. This is why Unlocked is what it is today. Let's do this.
I'm starting to think maybe we are on the evil side of things here.
Maybe you're just not emotionally cut out for this, Joe.
Yeah, maybe. And clearly you're not either.
Ever tell you the story about my dad?
What, your real dad or your adopted dad?
Asshole, my adoptive dad is my real dad.
Okay, good. I didn't want to hear a story about you searching for your biological father.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Done. Please continue.
My dad, Carl, was a loving man, tough man.
Like you?
Much more loving, much tougher. He worked in the mills in Bethlehem, all right? Provided decent living, he took care of us, supported us. Nothing lavish, right? So one day he gets a call into the big boss's office. First time he's met him in 30 years.
So what did the boss say?
Nothing.
Nothing. What the fuck kind of story is this?
You see, it's not about what the boss said, it's what he didn't say, Joe. He didn't say anything interesting at all. So after 30 years, my dad finally had a chance to sit across from the man who was running everything. And you know what he saw?
What?
Nothing. Nothing special. My dad realized in that moment he could have been that guy sitting behind that desk. He realized it too late. We're all just a bunch of guys, Joe. Some of us believe that we could do anything. Some of us believe we can't. So when you ask me why I want to do this, my answer is because I know what guy I want to be. What about you?
I think I should be good now. I'm telling you, we're all just a bunch of guys. All these guys that we praise, all these guys that we think are so special, all these guys that we feel like we can never be. We can be those guys because they're just guys. And so why are we doing Unlocked? Why is this an important thing for us? Why are we chasing something like this? Why are we striving for greatness? Well, because we both know, BB, who we want to be, what we want to be in this world, and how we want to get there. So The Rock really emulated that today, and I thought that was a great way to start the show. Thank you guys for checking that out. BB, I'll let you take it back over, brother.
Yeah, I like that a lot. We all start in the same place, so nothing makes these guys special. Anybody can do anything. So, yeah, right back to it. Let's go.
Oh, love it. Thank you.
We're starting with the conference championship previews, and we're going to get some picks out of Kevon here. I may give my opinions too. We'll see. Starting in the Mountain West, we got UNLV versus Boise State. Boise State is favored by 4 points here. What are you thinking about this, Key? Only 4? Boise State's been on a tear.
I mean, Yeah, they are on a tear. I think they get a little bit of boost because of GT. Yeah, they've been winning their games, but I mean, UNLV is, they got a chance. I think they have a chance in this game, and not to mention Boise State did only beat Wyoming by the skin of their teeth just a couple weeks ago. The same week that Alabama lost to Oklahoma, I thought Boise State was going down that week, but they ended up winning that game. Now they're into this one. Are we making picks yet?
Yeah, it's Boise State -4. What are you going with?
Give me the Broncos -4. I think that GT really stamps himself as an absolute dog this weekend. What about you, man?
Yeah, I agree with you. The Heisman hype's getting real loud for Mr. Travis Hunter, and some people love it, and some people can't stand it. So I think GT's going to go out there and steal the show. I think he's going to have a huge game, and if you have a huge game on the ground, that means you most likely dominate the game, dominate possession. Give me the Broncos -4, baby.
I like it.
Next, let me make sure before I say this.
Okay. No, this is. I don't know if there's going to be any more fireworks that come this week.
That's correct.
From these championship games. But what you got for us?
Okay, I was just making sure. Tulane was on a tear. They did just drop their last game they played to Memphis. They lost by 10 last week. And this is for the American Athletic Championship. We got Tulane versus Army. Both these teams have had late season defeats. Army got rocked by Notre Dame. Tulane got beat by double digits by Memphis. We got Tulane -5 in the American Championship. How are we feeling? Is this ground and pound from Army, the triple option, going to seal the deal, or is the hot head coach from Tulane going to get the job done?
See, a lot of people are talking about Tulane. Are they ranked right now, BB?
Not anymore. Not after their loss, they're not ranked.
They're not ranked anymore. Okay. I mean, man, I was pretty high on Army a couple weeks ago when they went and played Notre Dame. But man, the way they got buried in that one, it just feels as though if they're playing a team that has any form of a scheme, any form of a dog on the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball, they're going to lose. So give me Tulane -5 points here, BB. I'll take Tulane. I'll take the favorite.
Just kind of win by a touchdown. It's simple as that. Do you think maybe for the conference championship, Army's maybe dabbling into some film this week, or is it business as usual? These guys are doing their jobs. They're just running out there doing the triple option.
I mean, yeah, they might bring one extra play with them in the playbook, but they don't have anything crazy coming. But they're not. They stand no chance. I mean, I don't know, dude. I want to see Army win. I do. Yeah, I mean, I want them to have a chance to maybe. I don't know, man. I'll take Tulane just to play it safe, because Army, like you said, they don't practice before these games apparently. So
yeah, if anybody's watching and they weren't here for that episode, and Mr. Air Tiger gave us info on all the military schools, Navy, Army, Air Force. Why do these guys run the triple option? Because they don't have enough time during the week to have full practices. So they just kind of have to stick with their guns and say, you know what we're going to run. We're just going to see if you can stop it. As simple as that. Because they have other duties, obviously, at these military schools. So not as much time as these other schools got. But actually, my pick on this one, you go Tulane -5. Give me the Army Black Knights +5 with the points, dominating the game on the ground, keeping possession, keeping this electric Tulane offense off the field. And
speaking of picking spreads, what did you end up going in the NFL last week, ATS, against the spread? I know you were pretty piping hot.
I was 7-3, but then we went into Sunday Night Football, finished 7-4. The 49ers +6. Looking back on that game,
they got buried.
That was
7-4. We've talked about it before. Professional bettors are around like 53, 54% clip.
Yep.
7-4 clears that. So BB could potentially, if he really wanted to, become a professional sports bettor, because let me look at our numbers from the rest of the season. Before last week, BB, you're 29, 18, and 1. So you add in the 7 and 4. BB's piping hot, guys. I just wanted to let you guys know he's swinging a hot bat. What you got next for us, brother?
We'll be picking spreads again this Friday for the NFL for the weekend. That might be my favorite episode of the week is Fridays, getting to pick all the NFL games.
Dude, Friday episodes are elite. We normally get to have Tiger on, talk a little bit of college ball to go before the college games on Saturday. We pick some big games. We review Thursday, like Fridays. All right, and the vibes are just elite. The vibes on a Friday are elite, bro. Hopefully you guys come hang out with us. But what you got for us
now? We're getting into the big dog games. We got the Big 12 championship. Yes, every college football fan in America wanted to see Deion Sanders and Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders in this game, but they couldn't get the job done. We're seeing Iowa State versus Arizona State. An elite running back in Cam Scatteraboo, our good friend Pete Sousa says. He says this guy can run up and down the field all day long. The spread is Arizona State -2. I believe they're the hotter team on the higher win streak coming into this one. Who you got, Key? Arizona State -2 or Iowa State +2? Who we got?
Man, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to roll with our man Pete because, hey, a couple weeks ago, Pete, ESPN broadcaster, mentioned, hey, do not sleep on Bo Scatterbo and this Arizona State team. And I'm literally like, bro, who is he talking about? I love what he's saying, but who is he talking about? We're looking at Colorado, we're looking at BYU, and we're looking at Iowa State. I'm not really sure where this Arizona State thing is coming from. And here they are favored in the Big 12 championship with Bo Scatterbo back there. Give me Pete Sousa's squad -2.5 points, BB, all day long. And I'm taking that one to the bank.
Yeah, I agree with you more. I'm not the biggest Big 12 guy in the world. We know our guy Pete is he's in Big 12 country constantly. He's announcing some of these games. I feel like he's got a pretty good take on it. He knows what he's talking about. He said this Arizona State team is the real deal. Says they are legit, have a legitimate run game. So, like I've said with the previous two, if you can run the ball, you control the clock, you dominate the game. Give me the run game. Give me Arizona State, and I'll take the spread -2.
I love it. Isn't that kind of awesome, though? Like the fact that a team like Arizona State in this new college football playoff, a team like Arizona State who really stood no chance. Like I didn't even know. I forgot they played football this year, honestly. Like about a month ago, I forgot they played. And now they are slated in the playoff picture. And if they win this weekend, they're in. Nobody's talking about Arizona State. I think this is this new college football playoff method is awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like you said, there was nobody talking about this team even 2 weeks ago. It was BYU, it was Colorado. One of those teams was getting in. No, sir, neither one of those teams are even in the game. So moving on, we got the final three. These are the big three. These are the big three, some would say. Starting off with the SEC championship, we got a rematch. The Georgia Bulldogs versus the Texas Longhorns. Does Georgia continue the dominance against Texas and stomp them once again? Or does Texas submit their season? They're lacking that big time win. So Texas is -2.5. A little rematch, like I said. Georgia won 30-15 last time they played. Who we got, Key?
Man, this is tough because I'm assuming that this game is in Atlanta, like it is every year when Georgia gets
home game for Georgia.
Home game every single time. God, I think I'm gonna go, dude. I don't know because Texas is coming in hot. You know what I'm saying? Like people. I'm one of them. I'm not sure if Quinn Ewers listens to me at all, but I've been saying this team ain't beat nobody, and I'm not the only person that's saying it. But I'm going to take the Longhorns in this one. I do not think the Bulldogs can pull off a win against this team twice, and McKinley seems to agree. He said, hard to beat a team twice. This one scares me.
Yep.
I agree, Bell. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think Texas pulls this one away, and I honestly have a question for you, BB. If Georgia gets ransacked in this game, They will officially have 3 L's on their resume. Are they still in the college football playoff this year?
It's hard to say no because you lose the SEC championship, but that you do bring up a good point there. If Georgia loses this game and drops to that 3L, they also join the South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Bama teams in the SEC with 3 L's, and 2 out of those 3 teams they will have lost to. So that brings in the mix. Why is Georgia getting favored over Ole Miss and Bama in these games when Ole Miss and Georgia, or Ole Miss and Bama, have the same record as Georgia and also beat them? So you do bring up a good point there, but I don't think it happens. I'm taking the Georgia Bulldogs, I'm taking the Georgia Bulldogs plus 2.5. I think Kirby Smart, he's going to have these guys fired up. He had them fired up the first time they were playing Texas. As long as Carson Beck doesn't freak out and doesn't turn the ball over at an incredible rate, I think the Georgia Bulldogs can handle business and beat this Texas team twice.
BB, the thing about Georgia, the thing about Carson Beck is Carson Beck doesn't even like watching football, dude. And so you're telling me that this is the guy, this is your king, as Wakanda would say to him, this is your king? Okay, this guy's running the show. He's throwing picks in the big games. I do not see any world this time where Georgia beats Texas. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, Carson Beck's coming out talking about he doesn't like ball. They just barely beat a Georgia Tech squad who is now 7-5, BB. It took them 8 overtimes to win that football game. And Little Maxie says if Georgia has to go for 2 in this game, they are screwed. And I couldn't agree more because they cannot get in the end zone. And man, it's going to be a fun one to watch. I'm excited to watch this one. And I'm going to be honest with you. I also hope Texas carries Georgia back to Athens after they whoop on that tail, because man, I would like to see what the committee does with Ole Miss and with Alabama if Georgia gets rocked by the Longhorns in Atlanta.
Yeah, I feel like the only way that Georgia wouldn't make it is if Texas wins by like 20, 25, 30 points would be the only way they drop out, which that would be cool. But Georgia has 3 projected first-round picks on defense, 2 of them on the defensive line. They 8 last time they played Mykel Williams and Jalen Walker, Malachi Starks in the secondary. On offense, they've lost some firepower, but take care of the ball, run the ball. And I'm taking Georgia to win this one again. I am. It's a home game. It's a home game in Atlanta.
I don't care, man. They're not beating the Longhorns. Not twice. Okay. Not twice.
Well, I love being split on the picks. I love it. That means one of us is happy. One of us is going to be happy.
Great. That's a great moment for clippage too. I mean, if they lose, they're out. That's what I'm thinking. If they get rocked, they're out. But anyways, next game,
we go to Kevon's conference, the Big Ten Championship. We got Penn State and we got Oregon. Ohio State is not in this game, but they are locked into the playoff. They've had that good of a season. They're all good. We got Penn State versus Oregon. Oregon minus 3.5. How we feel about this?
I'm gonna be honest with you, BB. People have had a lot to say about Penn State on the sad side of things, and people are kind of crowning Oregon as the best team in the country already. I'm going to be honest with you, brother. I got Penn State covering, and I think Penn State could potentially upset the Oregon Ducks this week in Indianapolis. I think that Penn State ends up getting that. Wouldn't that be something, BB? If Penn State is the team out of the Big Ten that has the number 1 overall seed in the college football playoff. And then what can people say now? Oh, Oregon just sucks. Oregon's just terrible, man. Yeah, all right, buddy. Penn State covers. Penn State wins the Big Ten this year, and that's going to be another game that I'm fired up to watch.
Yeah, that could be a classic Big Ten game, though. You know, that could be a 9-6 ball game. We'll see. We'll see, though. But my pick in this one, Penn State does have an elite defense. They do have a projected top 5 pick in Abdul Carter coming off the edge. And every week we've seen this guy on the football field. He seems like he's getting better somehow. He's already an athletic freak, but every time I watch this guy, I'm like, wow, we need this guy in Charlotte, eh? But Drew Aller, Nick Singleton on O. Dylan Gabriel, Tez Johnson. You said it's in Indianapolis?
I'm saying. I think what the reason and the one and only reason Oregon beat Ohio State was because our cornerback play that day and our defensive play that day was horrendous. Penn State's defense, I think, comes out and plays some big time football, especially you mentioned him. Abdul Carter is going to get home a couple of times on Dylan Gabriel. McKinley thinks Oregon is fraudulent. I don't think Oregon is fraudulent. I just think Penn State is better than people give them credit for. And I don't think that they're going to lose this one, BB. I'm a big fan of Penn State in this game.
Okay, well, I like you going Penn State here, but I had to bring up some James Franklin stats real quick. This guy is 3-17 against top 10 teams. So I'm going to roll with the history. I'm going to roll with Dan Lanning. I'm going to roll with the Oregon Ducks -3.5.
I like it. Little Maxie says, I'm so interested to see if the committee is going to punish teams losing in their conference championship. BB said it yesterday, like
they've mentioned it time and time again that you will not be punished for losing in your conference championship. But me and Key were doing a little conversation earlier, but you can look at Florida State last year. These guys went 13-0 and won the ACC and got left out. So at this point, anything is possible. Whatever they say doesn't really matter until that final ranking is set. Anything can happen. SMU could drop out if they lose. Georgia gets curb stomped. They could drop out. Yep. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Here's what I'll say. I do think that the committee is just saying something like that as a placeholder. You know, like you don't want late in the season teams purposefully. I mean, I assume teams wouldn't purposefully lose football games, but like he's been saying that for multiple weeks. He means it like this. If Oregon loses, they're not going to get knocked out. They're never going to get knocked out in the first place. Penn State, if they lose, they're still going to be in. Texas, if they lose, they're still going to be in. I do agree with you, BB. If Georgia loses by 30, you being in the conference championship can only help you so much. You really tie the committee's hands behind their back if you lose big in this SEC championship game. Because like BB said, there are multiple teams that are on the bubble that both beat you with Ole Miss and Alabama. So if Georgia has 3 losses and they lose big here, they're not just going to be protected by the committee. ACC, there's only one ACC team that's going to be in the college football playoff. I don't care. Like if SMU loses, they're not going to make the college football playoff. Same thing for any team outside of the Big Ten and the SEC. So if the Big 12, whoever loses that, you're not going to make it. So I think that the committee is really just trying to have a placeholder there for teams that do make it, just so that, you know, there is a conversation already about, okay, well, they're not going to make it anyways, or, oh man, if they make it to the SEC championship, I don't want to make it to the SEC championship because if I lose, I'm not going to make it. That kind of knocked all that conversation out. So that's my take on the committee protecting teams that make it to the conference championship. I don't think that you're completely in just because you're in the conference championship. Big Ten, yes. SEC, kind of. Other conferences, fuck off. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the loser of the Big Ten does not matter. Oregon or Penn State, they are absolutely in the playoff. The loser of the SEC, I do think Georgia's in no matter what, unless they get 30 bombed. Like unless they get dismantled, embarrassed. Loser of the Big 12, smell you later. Loser of the other two, American and Mountain West, smell you later. So yeah, I agree with you. It could be a little placeholder. But the thing that's interesting to me, the one that's the biggest question is the ACC champ, SMU. What are they ranked 8th? I think it's 6 or 8. I think it's 8.
Yeah, they're 8.
Ranked 8th. So if Clemson if Clemson beats them, it's gonna be very interesting to see what they do. SMU fans, I think would be livid. I don't know many SMU fans, but if they lose and they're not in the playoff at 11-2, and then a 9-3 Bama gets in, I think they're pissed. They're straight up pissed.
I mean, yeah, I guess you can be pissed, but I mean, ACC, like we talked about, the committee has been clear about how they feel about ACC football. Florida State just last season went perfect, and they didn't make it. This showed, there's bias. You can be pissed off or you cannot be pissed off, but at the end of the day, there is bias. And there is better conferences than other conferences. Or, like a couple years ago where UCF went undefeated, claimed that they were the national championships. Well, dude, you're not in the best conference. That's just kind of how it is. And there is some bias there. What I'm most interested about, and we've talked about it a little bit already, is Georgia, BB. Because here's my thing with Georgia. They'll have 3 losses, right? 1 to Ole Miss, 1 to Alabama, and then 1 to Texas if they lose to the SEC in this SEC championship game. The committee has clearly shown, okay, we pick whoever won head-to-head over the team that might have some form of a better resume. Let's look at South Carolina. People are pissed off that South Carolina is not ranked ahead of Ole Miss and Alabama. Their only losses are LSU, Ole Miss, and Alabama. Okay, those are South Carolina's 3 losses. They are ranked below Alabama, and they are ranked below Ole Miss. So this, to me, says if Georgia loses, BB, you have to treat them the same way that you're treating South Carolina, because South Carolina is the hottest team in the country. They just beat number 12 Clemson on the road. So if there's any situation where there should be a team that is, trending in this direction, moving into the college football playoff, South Carolina should have been ranked ahead of Alabama and Ole Miss. Now we're looking at a Georgia team that's going to have 3 losses and 2 head-to-head losses for these 2 teams. If we're keeping the same principles, does it not make sense for Georgia to be ranked below Alabama and Ole Miss, BB?
Yeah, you bring up a good point there. Yeah, the perfect situations, the Bama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina, they are valuing the head-to-head between those teams over the overall resume and over their overall hotness, their streak coming into this game. So yeah, you bring up a good point there, and Bama fans and Ole Miss fans, I think, would be raising hell if Georgia loses and is still slotted above them, even though they have the same record. And Alabama and Ole Miss beat Georgia. I think that would stir some emotions. But then that also that makes me think if SMU loses and we think they're going to drop out, they would have. What is Miami 10-2 as well? Miami. They would have 2 losses. Would you have Miami slotted in over SMU if SMU loses the ACC championship, or is SMU still above Miami?
Yeah, this is a clear situation. This is a situation where making the conference championship won't punish you. SMU, they didn't play Miami head to head, so I mean you have to keep SMU ranked ahead of Miami. Okay,
I like it. Well, let's continue there. We got the ACC championship. Clemson versus SMU. SMU is favored by 2.5. Both of these teams really don't have that signature win. They're both searching for it. Who's Clemson's best win at this point? They got blown out by Louisville. They lost to South Carolina. They lost to Georgia.
Their best win would be, oh boy, man, I'm trying to find it. Their best win, I guess, would be Pitt.
Ooh.
That's it.
Is it the playoff team? Their best win's Pitt.
Yeah, I mean their best win could potentially be the Citadel, BB in Charleston.
Do they run the triple option too? I know they're in military school. I don't know. But SMU's at least got a BYU when BYU was on a do they have BYU? Or, no, BYU beat SMU. Never mind.
BYU.
SMU's best win is Louisville, right? I think.
SMU's best win is Louisville. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, both these teams are lacking that signature win. So who we got, Key? Clemson or SMU? SMU is -2.5.
I'm going to be honest, man. It it just doesn't feel right putting SMU in the college football playoff. Like their resume isn't quite good enough for me to say this is just one of those teams. And SMU, I do think that they took advantage of a piss poor ACC conference. I got Clemson. I got Clemson in this game. This is where prestige. This is where those big, some of the like Barrett Carter, linebacker for Clemson, some of those guys that are going to be drafted in the NFL. This is where you start to feel some of that. This is where you start to feel some Dabo Swinney coming in to Charlotte here and being the better coach. This is where you start to feel some of that dynasty really starting to come back, and they're going to make it to the college football playoff. Do I think they're going to make a splash in the college football playoff? Absolutely not. They got mollywopped by Georgia in week 1. So, but do I have Clemson in this game? Yes, I do. I've got Clemson winning this game, BB.
Where did Clemson drop to in the AP poll after the loss to South Carolina? I'm pulling it up right now.
They are now number 17 in the AP poll.
Okay, so yeah, even if Clemson wins the ACC championship and they're in, they don't get that first round bye because it's going to go to Boise. If Boise wins, Boise's going to be a top 4 seed.
Yeah.
Good, because Clemson's going to get wrecked first round.
Yeah, they probably. But that's the thing, though, man. Is if
Boise's
let's pull this up here, BB. Let's pull this up here, because if I'm Penn State, right? Let's say Clemson wins, SMU would be out, Arizona State, I guess, would move into the bye. If I'm Penn State, I would much rather see an Arizona State than I want to see Clemson at that 12 seed. I mean, this, like I said, man, I think there's got to be some form of a change here with the college football playoffs. Like the fact that we are potentially looking at Oregon, Texas, Boise State, and Arizona State as being the 4 teams that have bye weeks, like that's blasphemy. That is certified blasphemy. There should be no world where these other teams, I guess, some teams just didn't handle their business, whatever. But the best 4 teams are coming out of the Big Ten and the SEC. The best 4 teams should have a bye week, not your conference championship win. And like we've talked about it before, BB, okay, then what's the bonus of winning your conference championship? Well, the fact that you get a slot. Clemson, if you don't win, you don't deserve a slot anyways. So the fact that you win the ACC, you get an automatic slot in the playoff, that is a ding, ding, ding for them. They should not, in any world. Arizona State too. Neither of these teams should have a bye week and going into the college football playoff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like if you go back and if you were to bet this at the beginning of the year, and you say if you could bet the top 4 seeds, which top 4s are getting a bye, I think you would be making a pretty penny if you had Boise State and Arizona State in that top 4. They might not even have been listed as options for you to choose. That's how improbable this would probably be. But you bring up a good point. That's crazy to think about, that Boise State and Arizona State could be getting first round buys, and teams like Alabama could not even be making the dance. Like that's wild. That's wild.
Hey, that's college football, though. I love
it. That's the new version, baby.
It's the new college football, and I absolutely love it.
But going back to the ACC, I never gave my pick. You went Clemson plus 2.5. We've been different on the last 2. And I'm gonna go. Dabo got greedy last week. He could have just held the ball and tied it up, but he was going for a weird little 2-yard completion. So just for that reason alone, I'm going with SMU minus 2.5. The brand new ACC team is winning it in their first season in the conference.
All right. Okay. Did we make the same pick on any of these games?
We both said Boise. We both said Arizona State. We were different on Tulane Army, Georgia, Texas, Penn State, Oregon, Clemson, SMU.
Okay. I like it.
Love it.
But conference championship week.
We are going to a new topic. But we're staying in college football. We're bringing this graphic back up here. There we go. I got some questions for you, Kevon. If you're looking at this bracket, I'm sure it will look different come Selection Sunday. But if you're looking at this bracket right here, who are your 4 teams that are making it to those semifinal slots?
Man, look at the top of this thing, dude. Penn State, obviously. I mean, come on. Man, Ryan Day's been pissing me off, dude. Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And shit, dude.
We're gonna have to see Georgia, Texas 3 times this year.
Okay. Here's Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama, and Indiana.
Whoa. I would love it. I would love to see Indiana make a little run there.
No, I'm being mental. Texas.
Okay.
Texas.
So you Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama, and Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good 4. If I had to answer that same question, out of the top there, give me Boise State, Ohio State, Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, and Georgia. That would be mine for. Okay, got another question for you. You had Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama, and Texas in your 4. So I'm going to need you, sir, to pick your 2 winners from those semifinal games and give me your national championship matchup.
I would take a national championship game of Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Alabama Crimson Tide. Give it to me, baby. And you know who's taking that to the house. I know. It would be too easy, man. I'm trying to tell you, I would love to see a national championship game. Alabama, Ohio State. We need vengeance on these guys. I'm not even kidding, man. That would be awesome. Who you got?
I went Penn State, Ohio State. No, I went Boise State, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Georgia. Out of these, I'm going to have to go Ohio State versus Georgia in the national championship. And I'm right there with you, Key. Give me the Buckeyes taking the crown, winning at home, and saving Ryan Day's ass and winning a natty.
I would love that because, I mean, it's really loud for Ryan Day right now. You know it. He's another guy. I don't know if you listen to me, brother Ryan Day, but not too long ago, I just said, if you don't win it all, you're going to have to kick rocks. But, like, here's the thing, dude, is when this happened 2 years ago, when Ohio State played Georgia, Marvin Harrison Jr. breakout game. We had a little bit of C.J. Stroud looking absolutely elite versus the Bulldogs. That was a different Ryan Day that showed up to the playoffs and that showed up to Michigan. I think that Ryan Day is going to show up very strongly in this college football playoff. You know how much time he has to prepare. He has plenty of time to just wallop over his loss over the Michigan team. We get it. It's about as bad as your dad dying. He might need a couple of weeks to handle that, okay? Then after that, it's time to jump in and get ready for the biggest games, like literally of your career. And I'm not to put pressure on you or anything because I know that's what you're doing to our guys in the locker room. But, like, man, I saw a video of Max Crosby, of all people, saying Ryan Day should be gone. It's like, dude, everybody's talking about it, but I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to watch Ohio State in the playoff. And let me tell you, if Tennessee has to waltz into Columbus and play at the shoe, oh, baby, I'm excited for that game. And I'm like, I am jumping out of my seat. I want there to be an opportunity where Ohio State, their road to the national championship is nothing but SEC, ACC, Big 12, whoever. I don't want to play another Big 10 team. We've handled all of them, other than, you know what I mean. But like we played all of them. Like let me get a taste of Tennessee, then let me get Alabama the next week, and let us close it out with Georgia or something like that. That would be awesome.
I agree with you. I'd like to see a little more shakeup in this current bracket right here. We would have to watch another Georgia Texas for the third time. We have to watch another Ohio State Oregon. Like let's see some different matchup. Let's see an Ohio State Georgia. I like Ohio State Tennessee. That's an intriguing matchup right there. I like that a lot.
I like Alabama. I like our first round matchups. I like Indiana taking on Georgia. Let's see who's the real deal.
Yeah, I like that guy. I like Indiana Georgia too. I like that game a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do think, I'm not joking, I do think that there will be a little bit of manipulation that comes from the College Football Playoff Committee just so we can get a little bit of juicy. They're worried about ratings. They're not, they're worried about ratings a little bit. So they're going to try and get Alabama playing Indiana, Georgia playing Ohio State, Tennessee. You know what I mean? We're going to get Tennessee playing Penn State. We're going to get a little bit of that going this year. McKinley on Instagram says, UT versus the Dogs championship. What a classic. Tennessee, that is, he means. He believes the Tennessee Volunteers will be playing the Georgia Bulldogs in an all-time instant classic national championship game, BB. How do you feel about that potentially being a game when, let's be honest, when they played already earlier this year, kind of a shitter? But what you got?
It ain't happening. Tennessee ain't making the natty. It's not happening. That would be a huge rivalry game. Those fans hate each other. They always say those games are classics. The one that comes to mind always to me was the Josh Dobbs Hail Mary for the win against Georgia. We were watching it all over at Big Dr. Mike's house. I remember I was there, and I think Pierce was there, and that's when Pierce was a Tennessee fan back before college. That was a crazy game. That's what I remember from. But I don't think it's happening. I don't think Tennessee's making a natty.
They're not.
No. Okay. We're running a little slim on time. We got about 17 minutes left here on Unlocked. We're going to move ahead to the Thursday night football NFL game. We got the Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions in a huge playoff implication games in terms of fighting for that number one seed in the NFC. The Detroit Lions, I believe, are 11-1, and the Green Bay Packers are 9-3. This would close that gap for that number one seed. The Detroit Lions are favored by 3 points at home versus the Green Bay Packers. Who we taking, Key?
I got man, this is a big game, BB.
It is.
I feel like this is a huge game. Like these teams are fighting for the division. Jordan Love, I need to see a little more out of Jordan Love. Give me. Wait, man. I'm going to take the Packers +3 in this game. Yeah, I got the Packers +3. There are games where Jared Goff just looks absolutely terrible. Like when he played the Texans, that was some of the worst football I've seen in a long. It's like where did that come from? Like what happened? Did they get some pressure on you, buddy? Were they scaring you with their packages, my man? What happened? And I think that we're going to see a little bit of that with the Packers this week. Give me the Packers +3.
Yeah, I do think this is going to be a close game, division game. We always say those are close in the NFL. No matter what division you're in, no matter the skill level of the team, division games are always close. For my pick on this one, Jordan Love, he turns the ball over. We've seen Jared Goff throw 4 interceptions, so clearly he can turn the ball over sometimes too. I do think the Detroit the Packers got a good D too, man. They got a good O and they got a good – it's the same thing with the line. I think this game is going to be a shootout. And I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers as well, +3. I could see the Lions maybe winning this one on a game-winning field goal, and our Our +3 still cashing. I can see the Lions winning and the +3 still happening. I think it's going to be a close game. So I'm going to take the points and go with the Green Bay Packers +3.
I like it.
God, that's going to be a good game. That's going to be a really good game.
That is going to be a good one.
And for those in the stream right now, this will be posted on our TikToks and Instagrams later tomorrow. But do you want to turn $100 into over $1,200 tomorrow on Thursday Night Football? All you got to do is follow these 6 picks and meet me at the catch counter, as our good friend Maxi Smokes says. Maxi Stats, not Smokes, Maxi Stats. All right. With leg 1, we got a David Montgomery anytime touchdown. Anytime you turn on a Lions game, this guy's scoring. Leg 2, we got a Jordan Love over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Like we said, Jordan Love slings the rock. So over 1.5 passing TDs in a high-scoring game, I think it's cashing. Leg 3, Jared Goff. This is a weird leg. Leg 3, Jared Goff over 35.5 yards for longest passing completions. I swear every time I turn on the Lions game, he's dumping a screen to Jahmyr Gibbs, or he's throwing a deep ball to Jameson Williams. So I like this line. I think there's at least one big play in Jared Goff's arm tomorrow night. Let's see it. Leg 4, Christian Watson. If you guys know Christian Watson, there's about only one thing this guy can do on the football field, and that's run deep. So we're going Christian Watson over 22.5 yards, longest passing reception. So if he catches a streak, this one cashes. Leg 5, we got Jordan Love over 252 passing yards. Like I've said, high-scoring affair. To have high-scoring points, you got to have passing yards. Give it to me. And leg 6, to bring home the bacon, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown anytime touchdown. His streak did come to an end 2 weeks ago. Before that, he scored in, I believe, 8 straight games. So I think he gets back on track. Amon-Ra finds the end zone. Like I said, $100 will win you $1,220 on Thursday Night Football. Let's go.
Ugh, that's nasty. I like that. I like that a lot. That's a stinky one. That's a real stinky one. I like that.
If there's this isn't going in the clip, but if there's any leg that I think will sell me on this one, I think it's going to be the Jared Goff over 35.5 longest passing completion.
If I had to pick one, it would be that Christian Watson one, man. Like they
have a lot of receivers.
You just don't know which game he doesn't even get a target. You just don't.
No, I agree with you, but I feel like I've watched the Packers' last couple games, and there's been a couple games where he doesn't get a catch, but they're taking a shot to him at least once a game, at least once. Most times it's multiple. Most times it's multiple shots. So we're hoping for that. I'm excited for Thursday Night Football. Big game. But tonight, for those that are watching us live, we got some huge college hoops. We got Alabama Crimson Tide coming to Chapel Hill in a ranked affair. I believe the spread on this one's pretty even. I think it's -1 or -2 in favor of Carolina. Carolina's favored, which is crazy after their lackluster performance in Maui. And then we got Auburn coming to Cameron Indoor. And before we speak on that one, I'm actually going to see who's favored in that one.
Who are your How's RJ Davis been playing, dude?
Not good.
Not good.
Nope.
What's
he's getting old, I guess.
I was gonna say, is there anything that we're picking up on? Is there something up with the guy?
No, it's absolutely. It's that we don't have Armando Bacot in the middle. So that used to be our offense, was a pick and roll at the top of the key with Armando and RJ. If they kind of clamp that play up, Armando would get down the block we'd feed it down to him. And Armando almost against every team demanded a double team, or he was going to give your big man a bucket. So it gave RJ a lot more scoring opportunities, a lot more one-on-one opportunities. And now in the games, it's whenever we set the screen at the top with Jalen Washington and RJ goes around the screen, he's getting double teamed and trapped. And they're not worrying about our big man now. And they're kind of just forcing – they're pretty much saying anybody else on the team beat us but RJ Davis.
Yeah. And
even at the shots he's getting, though, he hasn't been making them at a high clip. I think he's still averaging 18 points a game, but he's shooting like 30-something% from the field. So
he's got one of the cleanest jumpers I've ever seen, dude. He has one of the cleanest jumpers I've ever seen.
And he's got one of the cleanest cellies. Every time he hits it, it's
I like that.
Every time. Can't beat it. So, but we got Duke's favored as well. Duke at home. So both the home teams tonight are favored. Duke is 3.5-point favorites, and Carolina is 1.5-point favorites. The SEC has been dominating the SEC ACC challenge so far. So hopefully the Tar Heels and I don't know actually. I hope Auburn wins. You got any picks on these, Key? Who we got?
I was just looking. It's cool to see the Tar Heels are favored. They're 4-3. They're 2-0 at home though. Yep. I want the Tar Heels, man. That's a team that I enjoy. Watching and rooting for. I wouldn't consider myself a fan today, but I do like watching the Tar Heels because they just play like it's a fun brand of basketball, if you ask me. And then the other game, I got Duke. I also have Duke. I'm just going to roll with I want to roll with North Carolina on this one. The fact that they're favored versus a undefeated Auburn team by 3.5. Hey, I like it. I'm here for it. The fact that Kentucky lost last night was pretty interesting to me, though, to Clemson. Yep. I think I was talking to our man Kellen Graham yesterday, and he likes this Kentucky squad. He says they can score it. They can shoot it.
Absolutely. Dude, me and Kel have been texting about Kentucky. Those guys will shoot the three no matter what. They are pulling the trigger from deep. So Kentucky's fun to watch. They really are. They're not as I wouldn't say they're as talented as we're used to seeing these Kentucky teams be loaded with 5 stars, but they let it fly. My picks tonight
with Coach Cal.
Say it again.
Real quick, Arkansas. Sorry. Arkansas with Coach Cal. How are they doing?
I have no idea, to be honest. Haven't tuned in any Arkansas games.
I haven't. I'm about to look them up. While you can
they're supposed to be they're supposed to have a loaded roster as well with Coach Cal.
They're 6-2.
Okay.
Lost to Baylor, lost to Illinois pretty bad, but they beat Miami in the SEC as ACC. All right, my bad. We're good.
No, you're good. My picks, I'm going to roll with the Heels, -1.5. These games early, if you remember last year, we played Tennessee, and the Dean Dome was absolutely rocking. These are the games we usually show up for, the big games at home. Hopefully RJ Davis gets back on track, throws up some 3 goggles tonight. That would be fun to see. And then right after that, we got Auburn going into Duke. I was having a conversation with some family over Thanksgiving break, and it was watching Auburn in the Maui Invitational. It was a pretty good consensus that I think this team is the best team in the country. His last name's Broom. His first name's like Johai or something like that. And this guy, he was a 3-star recruit. He's a senior now, and he will give you buckets in the paint. He will shoot it from 3, and he's 6'11", and he's nice. And Auburn has got they don't have much experience together. They're 7-0 this year, but they have a lot of transfers. But the thing I think Auburn has on Duke is they have 8 seniors in their rotation. This team is old. They got the experience. Duke, we know, is always young. Duke's lost a couple close ones early. And we do know Cameron Indoor is one of the hardest places to play. I could see Duke winning the game, but I'm going to take the let me make sure I'm saying that. I believe it was 3.5, so I'm going to take Auburn plus 3.5. But I could
game though, dude. Like if we're going 3.5 and it's a b-ball game, let's go money line.
No, I like the 3.5.
you're thinking
Dude, 3.5 minus 110. Money line's only plus 140. That's not worth it in my opinion. I'm taking the plus 3.5 because more often than not, wow, this Brim guy, yeah, he's averaging 21 points on 60% from the field, averaging 13 boards, leads the team in boards, leads the team in assists as well, 3 assists a game. So he's
the best player in the country.
He's really good. He's really good. So I'm on that game. That's gonna be a bloodbath. Like I said, Cameron's the hardest place in the country to play. I think it's a mini gym, and those fans are rowdy for 40 minutes. So yeah, but give me the Tigers plus 3.5. I hate Duke. So simple as that.
Okay, I love it. I gotta when does Duke play Chapel Hill this year?
It's usually we play like earlier. We play like probably in February usually, and then we play last game of the season.
Okay, I love it.
Let me see. Yeah, we played February 1st, and then last game.
Okay,
of this season. We go to Cameron first. Okay, we go to Cameron first. We know what happens last year in Cameron. There's a Cormac Ryan legacy game. That was awesome. And I always love whenever UNC and Duke plays. If UNC wins, I always text Max this website. I text him a link. It's diddukewin.com. And when you click it, they update it immediately. I don't know who's in charge, but when you click it, all it just pops up in bold letters, no. It's great. He hates it. But
you ever respond, or is it just like or I'm sure he said something. I don't know.
I feel like he probably doesn't respond. One time, me and Max were watching the Duke UNC game together at Hickory Tavern, and UNC won. And we were watching with like a pretty big group. You might have been there. I'm not sure. But Max straight up just didn't say a word to anybody. He left on his own. He was down bad.
I feel him, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel it. When Ohio State lost to Michigan, I was at a local place. It's called Protagonist. It's like a Ohio State bar, and I'm there. Game's over. We lose. I just kind of pack up and leave, man. I'm not. All right, guys. I'll see y'all later. Good game, guys. All right. No, I'm out.
Yeah, I feel like I probably would have been the same way if the results were different. Probably would have been the same way.
Max said that's not true.
That's 100% true. That is 100% true on everything. No doubt about it.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is hilarious. I know, yeah, that probably did happen.
No, it 100% happened. You can ask CJ. CJ was definitely there.
I want to see if he has a rebuttal.
Yeah, let's hear the rebuttal, Mac. That 100% happened.
I think he's owning it. Yeah, no response. We're good.
Yeah, no response.
He silently just left the live. Same way he left the basketball game.
All right. Well, I don't got anything else. You got anything for us? All good?
All good, man. We're back tomorrow, though. I'll tell you that. We're back tomorrow with some juiciness. I kind of want to do a deep dive and talk a little more about Georgia, because I didn't really think about it until during this episode. If Georgia loses, I'm not kidding. I don't think they should be in. I don't think so.
3 losses, and they're just automatically slotted ahead of Alabama and Ole Miss and South Carolina.
Because right now they're let's see. Right now Georgia is number 7 in this. They could be ranked a little higher, a little lower in the actual polls, right? So if they lose, they're going to be around 10, 11, and that's the same range as Alabama and Ole Miss. So at that point, it's not like Georgia's going to move to 5 and Alabama's number 12. It's going to be like Georgia's going to be 10, 11, Alabama's going to be 12. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, you have to put But anyways, we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Max says that straight up didn't happen. You might be an idiot. Can't wait till I can get back on the show and get some actual good takes out there.
He might have dementia because that 100% happened. I remember it was Joel Berry was on the team. I remember that too. That was the game.
I believe it happened. I believe that happened.
No doubt about it. All right. Well, don't got anything else. Thank you, guys. I think we had a viewer on YouTube the whole time. So shout out whoever you are. Don't got much else. Like Keith said at the beginning of this show, we're all just dudes. We all were started the same. So why not us? Let's throw it up. Tick.
Shout out the guys on Instagram. We got up to like 6 viewers at one time. We got at the same time we had 4 viewers on YouTube. That's 10 total at one time. That's worth a clap up. Come on, baby.
That's double digits.
That's double digits. All right.
That's double digits. Tick.
Boom.